So the past couple weeks I was out of town, which is why I hadn't uploaded a video, but while I was out of town I found a cool new game, which a lot of people have probably heard about, but I want to talk about it today. The game I'm talking about is Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact is a gacha style game with elements of Breath of the Wild where you explore an open world to complete quests. Now there's a lot of pieces of this game, so to start off my review I think I'm going to talk about the negatives and then we'll get into the positives. So for my first negative, this is one that's really a personal thing to me, but it's starting at a weird spot with the cooking in this game. I am not a fan of this at all. You can ask anyone I play this game with, I hate the cooking in this game. For one, it feels like a lot of the items and elements that you pick up in the game are only there because of the cooking features in the game, which makes it seem like a lot of the items you pick up are useless because they only go to the cooking. As well, the cooking has a mini game that kinda is a lot of wasted potential. If you look at a game like Cooking Mama, there's a lot of cool things you can come up with for a game like this, especially when it's mobile compatible. However, instead they take a route where you just do a quick time event. You get a little bar and you have to hit the space bar as soon as it hits a certain point. And after you do this, anywhere between 5 to 20 times based on the recipe, you can just auto-craft it, so it's almost like there's no point to even do this cooking minigame in the first place. The co-op in this game is also really weak. Sure, you can join other people's worlds, but you can't interact with anything in this world. The only one gaining any benefit is the person who creates the co-op game, because they can still collect chests and stuff, and the only thing the co-op partner can do is pick up drops off of enemies. The only reason you would do co-op is to help a friend catch up to you, but even then, you don't unlock co-op till I think Adventure Rank 16, which is pretty far into the game anyway. One of the biggest points and most agreeable points is Paimon. Paimon is a character that follows you throughout the game. Paimon acts as both the menus as well as kind of a travel companion and guide. However, a lot of the voice lines and especially the voice acting is really annoying for Paimon. I wouldn't blame the voice actress, it was probably just the direction they were given, but Paimon is super annoying and there's no real benefiting factor for you to care about Paimon. Inside the game, there's limited time items you need to collect to rank up and ascend your character. Certain levels are capped out until you ascend your character. One of the things I personally hate the most about this is that these items are limited to specific days of the week. Sunday, all items are available, but certain items are only available Monday, Thursday, Tuesday, Friday, Wednesday, Saturday, which means that you have to be playing at a certain time or a certain day to be able to level up certain characters that you have, which can be kind of annoying. As well, to unlock these limited time items, there's a system called Resin, which you fight bosses and also do domains, which is where you get limited time items with. I, myself, and a lot of other people hate this resin system because of how long it takes to regenerate resin. It makes it so the game's unplayable for long periods of time to the more hardcore fans that want to grind out and level up their character as fast as possible. The resin regenerates 1 every 10 minutes if I remember correctly, so you have to wait a full 12 hours to regenerate all your resin. I hear that they're reworking it for a future update, but until we see that, I firmly stand that the resin system is subpar. Now let's get to some positives. First, I have the story and character involvement in the story. I really like the universe that's built where there's gods roaming amongst men, and they're very involved and intertwined with them. A lot of the nations and systems built between the different characters in the game are based upon the god that they worship. And what I mean by character involvement is all the characters that can be unlocked in the gacha system have a place in the story overall. I'm going to pronounce some of these names wrong, but on one hand it could be someone like Amber, who is the best glider of all of Mondstadt, the main town, so she kind of gives you the tutorial of gliding, and after that you don't see her much. Or it can be something even more simple like Jiangling, who is the best cook of all time, so she kind of leads you through more of the cooking missions. Then there's someone like Diluc, who is the Black Knight in one of the storylines, and he kind of has this whole sub-arc of battling the enemies but in his own way. This involvement of the gacha characters in the story makes you want to unlock them even more so that you can kind of experience and play as these characters beyond just what their storyline is. I would also personally say the pacing of the storyline is very nice. I do know of people and have seen videos of people complaining about the pacing, but these are the same people that were pushing through as fast as possible to generate content on Genshin Impact, where if you take your time and really go at the speed that the game is designed for, you will have a good time and plenty of hours to play the game. Also, the cutscenes for the storylines are really clean and really nicely animated, and work pretty well for the game overall. Something I also want to mention is the mobile controls. I started this game, my first 10 days or so playing this game was when I was out of town, so I was purely playing it on my phone. Now, my Android can't really run the game that well because it's about 2 years old. However, I did not feel like I was cheated at all playing the game in the mobile edition. It felt just as smooth and capable to be played mobile as it does on PC, which to some people is a turnoff because to them it doesn't seem like a real game, but personally I think this is a huge benefit. You don't have to fully commit and boot up your gaming PC just to play. You can kind of pick it up whenever, if you have like 10 minutes, do your daily quest real quick and move on with your day. I also really like the world level system that's built into the game. The world level increases as your adventure rank increases and as you complete certain quests. This world level keeps it so that the monsters that you're fighting continue to scale up in level as you rank up in level, and there's no real point in the game where you're too far higher and too far OP than the things you're fighting throughout the world that you're experiencing. This still makes the combat fun when you get to the higher levels because you are still scaled properly. You're not going back to Route 2 in Pokemon and fighting level 2s. If you were to go back to the beginning of the game, you're fighting monsters of the rank that you are. I personally don't have much experience with gacha games, but one thing I really like about this game in specific is that it doesn't feel like you need to spend money on this game at all. The game gives you base characters that have all the necessary elements for free throughout the game. So if you want to get characters beyond that, you can either earn Primo Gems in-game to do the unlocks, which is pretty easy to do, especially in the early game. It gets a bit more complex in the later game, but you also are able to just use the characters that the game gives you to begin with. I would have been really annoyed if one of the quests required a specific element character that they didn't give me for the main game, but instead you get all the characters you need to complete all the element-based quests. Another solution that they've used to fix the needing a certain element is the main character can actually switch their element later in the game based off of what you've unlocked. This means that when it comes to future elements, you especially won't need to have a specific character to do a specific quest because you could just change your main character's element. Let's get more into the wish system. I personally really like it. I've talked to some people and they're firmly against it, and there's some people that really like it as well. Personally, I'm a fan of it. The wish system is how you unlock more characters and where you could spend money on the game if you wanted to. I like the openings, it's a nice animation, and you just get more characters to play the game with. Again, you can do this without having to spend a single dollar on it. It's just if you want to get more characters faster, you can spend more money. And the one final point I want to hit on is the bosses. I really like the boss battles in the game. All of them have unique patterns and designs, and you do refight some bosses a couple of times here and there, but each time you encounter a new boss, it's new enough that you feel like it's a new experience. Some games really have an issue of bosses recycling moves and recycling attacks, but this game really makes sure that each boss has a unique feel and a unique set of attacks. On an ending note, let's talk about the future of this game. I think the story has something going on there that really keeps the player enticed and wanting to play more. With that said, the longevity of this game comes with the consistency of updates. If they're not releasing new story updates too often, then people are definitely going to flock away from this game and go to something else. Especially with a competitor like Phoenix Rising coming out in the near future, I think Genshin has just gotten in at the right time, and can continue this momentum if they really put a lot of effort into giving us good quality updates in the near future. I definitely think personally I'm going to keep going back to this game after I've hit a max cap point and completed all the story. I'm definitely going to keep coming back until the story is fully completed. There will probably be a point that in like a year I might get bored of going back and completing the story, but as of right now, I think this is a solid game. If there's any time to get into this game, it's right now, especially with the new 1.1 update coming out in about 10 days from now. It's looking really promising, and I think it's definitely worth giving a try. I'd say the best amount of time is to give about 3 to 4 hours, maybe even on your phone, not even on your PC. If you don't like it after those first couple hours, not for you. If you do, stick with it. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, consider subscribing. I will be uploading again next Saturday, and this next video is going to be about Rooster Teeth. So stick around.